Yo, what's up? In this video, I'm gonna give you the top 5 greatest small forwards of all time. Now, if you haven't seen the top 5 greatest point guards and shooting guards, the links are in the description box. Now, small forward, you know, anybody who watch basketball, they should know there's like the middle of the bunch, the 3 position, as basketball heads would say. You know, they got swiftness of guards and they got powers of the power and strength like the power forwards and the centers. You know, it is from the time I started watching basketball, it wasn't that many small forwards to you know, great small forwards. There only a handful of them, you know, like the Larry Birds. Like when I started watching, you know, they were pretty much on their last leg. Dominique Wilkins, etc., James Worthy, etc. But you know, I came up with the list, and number 5. Now I guess you could put an asterisk by this, but you know, when you really look at it, he played long enough, and you know, he pretty good. And that person is Carmelo Anthony. From my lifetime now, from my years of watching basketball, Carmelo Anthony is the number 5 greatest small forward of all time. Now I put an asterisk by that, like I said earlier. You know, that's definitely up for debate. But you know, he's been a good player. You know, his playoff success hasn't been that good. You know, except for that one year, he went to the Western Conference Finals. I wanted him to beat Kobe them, but you know they didn't. But he played good. You know, he was scoring champion this year. You know, he got the Knicks, the number 2 seed in the East. You know, a playoff team. I don't know about championship team, but you know, the Knicks wouldn't be nothing without him. I put it to you like that. You know, started his career in Denver. In my opinion, he should have won Rookie of the Year because he led the team to the playoffs. But hey, he's a good player, good offensive player. You know, the man could play. You know, his weakness, you know, his defense. But he be focusing, I guess, all his energy on offense. You know, he's a great player. He was great in college. That one year he was in college, he led that team to a national championship. You know, he's a pretty good player. You know, that's who I got for number 5. If you could think of a 5th small forward on top of your head, just let me know, you know, from the late 80s till now. Number 4. Now, from 4 and up, I'm pretty confident on these. Number 4, Grant Hill. Now, Grant Hill came out of Duke. He was a great player out of Duke. He got drafted to the Detroit Pistons. You know, Dumars was still there. Isaiah Thomas was gone, pretty much. And you know, he went on a tear. You know, it was a little span when they weren't going to the playoffs, but he was a solid small forward. You know, Joe Dumars was switching to point guard for, you know, when Isaiah Thomas left, he pretty much became point guard. You know, he mentored Grant Hill or whatever. You know, he was a great player. Won Rookie of the Year. I think he split it with Jason Kidd, if I'm not mistaken. Multiple All-Star games. He was a good player, you know, especially throughout the 90s. With the Pistons, of course. Then he went to Orlando. You know, and then that when injury got him. You know, he started getting injured a lot. Started missing a heck of a lot of games. You know. But you know, he's still in the league. You know, he played with the Clippers now, you know, on the playoff team. I hope they go deep so he can finally get a chance at a championship. But Grant Hill is a solid player, and he played a long time too. You know, 94, 95, 94, something like that. So, hey, the man been in the league this long and he's still going strong. So you got to tip your hat off to him. Grant Hill, number 4 greatest small forward of all time. Number 3, Paul Pierce. Now, I think if I ain't tell y'all this, but I got the truth, you know, name from Paul Pierce. You know, cause that's his nickname or whatever. And he was the truth. He's still in the league. Came out of Kansas, played with Boston his whole career. Looked like he on a retired Celtic. In my lifetime, he was the greatest Celtic. You know. Went to the playoffs. Him and Antoine Walker was a tantrum. You know, it was a couple of down years with Boston, but he stayed with Boston. You know, went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, this was before Garnett them. Went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, the man had some great playoff performances. And he kind of overlooked when you really look at the big picture. You know, as far as like great, you know, because Paul Pierce is all-time great. You know, went to multiple All-Star games. You know, he get credit, but compared to other players, he get kind of overlooked at times. You know, and then, you know, the big trade with Garnett and Ray Allen. And he finally got over the top. He won a title, beating the Lakers. You know, it brought back the old rivalry, the Lakers and Celtics, and he delivered. You know, he put on an act when he was injured that game. He was in a wheelchair and he came back. You know, that was a little theatrics, but hey, he delivered. You know, the only thing the only knock I got against him is look like he got a slow release. You know, or it appears to me that it looked like he, you know, got a slow jumper or something. You know, he don't have a quick release. But other than that, the man great. You know, one of the greatest Celtics, one of the greatest small forwards of all time. You know, in general, to me. So number 3, Paul Pierce. Number 2, Scottie Pippen. You know, everybody should know Scottie Pippen. You know, he get kind of put in the background because he was playing with a certain player, you know, wear number 23, considered the greatest of all time. But Jordan, you know, great as Jordan is, Jordan wouldn't have won no titles without Pippen, and vice versa. You know, Pippen was that guy on that team. You know, great defender. He could great scorer. He could do it all. You know, some people even said that he was better skill-wise than Michael Jordan. But Jordan had the intangibles like no other player ever, in my eyes. Well, only a select few, rather. That would separate Jordan from Pippen to me, you know. You know, the number 2 guy won 3 championships. Jordan retired, and the Bulls were still a good team. Then they won 50-some games without him. You know, Pippen was in the MVP talks that year or whatever. You know, Pippen is great. And then, you know, Jordan came back, and, you know, the rest is history. Won 3 more titles, 6 titles. You know, that was the tantrum. You know, one of the greatest duos of all time, if not the greatest. A defender, a great defender. You know, that's what I like about Pippen the most. He's an excellent defender in my eyes. And you know, he went to the Rockets, then the Blazers or whatever, and hey, then he retired. He went back to the Bulls for a bit. You know, of course he wasn't like he was then in the 80s and 90s. But Scottie Pippen, the second greatest small forward of all time. Now I've been thinking long and hard about this, and as you can see, my name is the truth. So that's all I spit. Even if I like the person or don't like the person, I'm gonna tell the truth. You know, I ain't gonna BS y'all. So I hate to say this, but based on my years of watching basketball and everything put in perspective, the #1 greatest small forward, and I hate to say this, is no other than LeBron Scottie Pippen James. I know y'all LeBron lovers and LeJerry James, y'all gonna be like, oh, he fucking LeBron lover. I'm not no LeBron lover. Everything I say and all my criticism of Scottie Pippen James still holds true. You know, but if you take that aside, the man is a great player. And I said this plenty of times. If he retired today, you know, he a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, I crap on him a lot and still gonna crap on him, you know, but the man is an excellent player. Like, if that was like a prototype, you take away his mentality, put somebody else's mentality on, you know, his skills and stuff. Skills alone, he could be a prototype of a basketball player. He's 6'9", 8, 9, 200 some pounds. He quick. He could jump. He's a great passer. You know, he's a great shooter. Now, all of this I'm saying is like the first 45 minutes of the game. You know, so you know the last 3 minutes you could put somebody else, put Scottie Pippen in the last 3 things, but as far as skill-wise, the man could play. And, you know, he won the championship. I was upset when he won, but I was happy in a way. I guess it was kind of bittersweet when he won that title. You know, because think about it. You know, like I said, I crap on Scottie Pippen James, but, hey, he lived up. You know, he came out of high school. The next big thing, you know, he disappointed me and still does, with the decision and all this other stuff. But you take all that out of it, you know, he lived up to, you know, his hype or whatever. Now, is he the greatest of all time? No. And he will never be the greatest of all time. But as far as the small forward position, I could say, you know, I could live with him being the greatest of small forward of all time. You know, like I said, it wasn't that many, you know, to begin with. So, you know, you put that in consideration. And before y'all say, well, thought you said championships that matters. Listen, Scottie Pippen #2. You know, Scottie Pippen of the Bulls and #2. The Scottie Pippen of the Miami Heat #1. So they both the #2 guys. So you could just swap. It's still gonna be they still the #2 guy of the team, of their respective teams. So hey, you know, Scottie Pippen wasn't the #1 of the Bulls. Scottie Pippen James isn't #1 of the Heat. You know, it's Wade. So before y'all try to say, oh, you know, y'all LeBron lover, calm down. I know y'all jumping up for joy thinking I'm a LeBron lover now. I just call a spade a spade. When you put all the small forward together, you Scottie Pippen James, LeBron James, I guess, is #1 skill-wise, like the intangibles. You know, Scottie Pippen of the Bulls got the intangibles that Scottie Pippen James lacked. You know, like clutch and hard and mentally strong. You know, Scottie Pippen of the Bulls got that. LeBron don't. But you take that out of it, which most of y'all LeBron lovers do, because y'all put that into it. He's not, you know, Scottie Pippen James is the greatest small forward of all time. You know, because I look at the, you know, with Cleveland, he did win 66 games, 61 games, because he had other good players around him, quality players. You know, you can't take that away. And you can't take the championship away. That's why I say championships is all that matter. And look like they got a good shot of winning their second championship. But you know, I hate to say this. You know, I ain't gonna be a hater like y'all think I am, but LeBron James is the greatest small forward of all time. Not the greatest player, but the greatest small forward. You know, I like watching them play. You know, I just root against them. Like I like watching the Yankees play. And I root against them. I hope they lose or whatever. But with LeBron, it mostly come true. But my top 5, Carmelo Anthony, Astridge, Grant Hill, Paul Pierce, Scottie Pippen, and LeBron, Scottie Pippen, James. Honorable mentions, Kevin Durant. You know, I was fit to put him number 5, but he hasn't played that long. You know, I'm not saying he could be a flash in the pan, but never know. Anthony Hardaway was good, so you know, just think about that. So, with that said, tell me your top 5 greatest small forwards of all time. And if Carmelo Anthony ain't number 5, please tell me who should be number 5, because that's the only person I can think of off the top of the head. So with that said, that's it.